Hello friends, welcome to Knowledge House. Let's look into today's The Hindu newspaper that is of the date 25th of August 2018. So as usual, we'll be looking to certain articles that are important from a UPSC and various other competitive exams perspective. So I welcome you all to this video. Let's start. The first article is regarding yesterday we read something regarding the tussle between government of Kerala and Tamil Nadu over the Mullaperia water issue with regards to the recent floods in Kerala, and a petition has been filed in the Supreme Court regarding the role of Tamil Nadu in this the whole flood. I mean the fault in Tamil Nadu side giving regular warnings and all that. And the Chief Secretary of Kerala government submitted in the Supreme Court that there was no positive responses from Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu to government didn't give or didn't issue the proper warnings at the right time. So right now, let's look into the balance part of that article that appeared in today's The Hindu. So Tamil Nadu government says that proper warnings were given to the government of Kerala. Tamil Nadu warned Kerala when the water level rose in the Mullaperia Dam during the critical days of devastating floods, and the state aid in a that's what the state said in a counter affidavit filed before the Supreme Court on Friday. The Tamil Nadu government denied the allegations. It waited too long until the water level crossed the permitted mark of 142 feet. And regarding this 142 feet and all that, I'll let you know regarding this the whole issue. I'll give you a background of this whole issue in the later part of this analysis. So right now let's look into what exactly this article is saying. So the war over water, the figure here shows that the from the Kerala side, the communications from Water Resources Secretary and the chairman of the supervisory committee to gradually release the water to at least 139 feet. This Mullaperia dam is a British era dam. It is alleged to be really old one, and it cannot stand the whole issue. That's what Kerala government says. Especially if something wrong happens to the dam, the whole it is said that three or four out of the 14 districts in Kerala, that is three districts out of 14, will be completely vanished. That's the case here. So if something happens, Kerala will be Kerala will be the most affected. At the same time, the administration part is with Tamil Nadu. That's the key issue here. So right now, what the stand of Kerala and the stand of Tamil Nadu is mentioned here. So communications from the Water Resources Secretary and the chairman of the supervisory committee to gradually release the water to at least 139 feet evoked no positive assurances. That's what the Kerala government is saying. Again, the Kerala says that events spiraled out of control uh, when Mullaperia water was suddenly discharged by opening all 13 shutters to the Idiki downstream at the midnight of August 2015, and within a very small time there was a devastating effect on the downstream areas in Kerala, and this later resulted into a very devastating flood with more than 200 people death. I mean, not in this particular area alone, on the entire downstream area that travels around 200 to 300 kilometers. So the sudden discharge forced Kerala to release more water from the Idiki Dam, which also one of the reasons for the deluge. This is what the Kerala government says. And now coming to the Tamil Nadu, now what they have submitted in the Supreme Court. So they said they're informed, they properly informed when Kerala, when the water level in the dam reached 136 plus feet, and at prior levels when the water level crossed 141, 142, and all those respective lots. And again, the Tamil Nadu government has submitted that quantity of water released from the Mullaperia Dam to Idukki was far less than that released from Idukki and Idamala dams. So, these are all regional issues. Let's not give too much importance to this. Anyway, there is a tussle going on between Kerala and Tamil Nadu regarding the after effects of this whole dam issue. And let's see now what this article says. So, water level should be kept below 142 feet. The Supreme Court on Friday agreed with the conclusion of the Disaster Management Subcommittee that the water level in the Mullaperia Reservoir should be maintained 2 to 3 feet below the permissible limit of 142 till August 31. That is till August 31 to guard against floods or other disasters. So we may direct the committee which may yesterday, that is August 23rd, shall see it to that as far as practicable, water level will be maintained at the dam, and both Tamil Nadu and Kerala shall cooperate with the committee. That's what Chief Justice of India observed. So that's all important about this particular article. We are moving on to the next one. It is regarding the, again, it's a tussle between the central government and the government of Kerala regarding the assistance from the UAE government. So now, right now, UAE officials have said flood aid has not been finalized. So till now, yesterday there was the news says that UAE has offered a sum of 700 crore rupees to Kerala as a part of the flood assistance. So right now, altogether, central government has offered only 600 crores, and this raises a lot of questions because this is India, this is UAE. So that's the case here. Anyway, right now, the ambassador of the UAE to India has officially said the UAE has not officially announced any financial aid for Kerala flood relief. We have not conveyed anything to India on any assistance. That's what a senior embassy official has said. And the Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan earlier said this week that UAE had decided to extend financial assistance of rupees 700 crore, considering the Gulf nations' special relationship with Kerala, because it is as in a poetic way, it is said that UAE consists of seven emirates, and the eighth emirate is Kerala. That's what they poetically say. So there's a, Kerala's diaspora. There are a large number of people working in UAE. That's the case here. So that's all important about that particular article. We are moving on to the next one. Corruption has eaten into town planning. That's what That's what the Supreme Court has observed. Referring to the recent fire which engulfed the Crystal Tower in Parel, Mumbai, Chief Justice that is Justice Madhun B. Locker said thousands of buildings in Mumbai are unsafe and innocent lives are lost in the mire of corruption. In Mumbai, people are dying. We are talking about deaths here. Only recently that there have been huge fire at Kamala Hills. No lessons were learned. How long shall this situation continue? How many lives more? That's what justice observed. Everything is collapsing. You make laws and then you make a mockery of these laws. That's what Justice Gupta observed. So anyway, the town planning aspect, because it definitely has a role in various aspects, including disaster management and this smart city kind of thing and all that. So it's a basic understanding of this article is more than enough. So we are moving on to the next one. It is regarding the live streaming of Supreme Court proceedings. So the technology has a flip side, but live streaming of Supreme Court proceedings is a true representation of open court system where courts are accessible to one and all. That's what Justice D.Y. Chandrachud said on Friday. To this, Justice Chandrachud countered that the court proceedings are live tweeted even now, and there is no authentic record of the hearing to prove a tweet wrong. At least when the hearing is live streamed, we will have an authentic record of what happened. That's what judge responded in a comment regarding the fake news aspect, especially when it comes to live streaming of the Supreme Court. So CJI has said now the verbal comments of judges are read in words, but people may want to see who speaks. See you speak, look into your eyes, and why should we feel shy away from that? So that's what Chief Justice has observed regarding the live streaming of. So let's expect that there will be a channel, just like we have Rajya Sabha TV and Lok Sabha TV, that live streams the proceedings of the Supreme Court. So that's all important about this article. We are moving on to the next one. This is a really important article because the Representation of the People Act is under question here. That is, it is being discussed here, and the role of Election Commission is also discussed here, and the various aspects of this MCC, then expenditure limit, everything is discussed here. So please pay due attention to this. So Election Commission will conduct a brainstorming session on key issues. That's what the article is titled about, and the Election Commission will be debating this. That is. How can campaign silence be maintained during the last 48 hours of pre-polling? This is a really important question, and the Election Commission will be discussing various other issues, and including the limit on expenditure and increasing the participation of women at a multi-party meeting on Monday. And all 7 registered national political parties and 51 state political parties have been invited to this session, and the law prohibits canvassing during the last 48 hours before polling, and this is meant to create an environment of neutrality and silence for the voter to exercise the franchise through a recent reflection rather than being swayed by the last minute appeals by the parties and candidates. So the commission has asked the parties if the print media should be brought within the ambit of section 126(1)(b). Please note this is 126(1)(b). So because I am emphasizing on this figures and all that, because it is because Representation of the People Act is a very definitive something very definitive in the UPSC syllabus. It comes under GS1 as far as I know. So the commission has asked the parties if the print media should be brought within the ambit of the section 126(1)(b), which lists the medium in which display of election matter is prohibited and includes television, cinematograph, and similar apparatus. So this article, that is section 126(1)(b) of the Representation of the People Act. So the question here is if the print media should also be brought under the representation of the that is under this particular section of the RPA. So seeking to raise a heated debate, the commission has asked the political parties on whether there should be a ceiling on the party election expenditure. The present election laws only provide a limit on the candidate's expenditure. The Commission has also written to the Law Ministry exploring the question. It has proposed that such a ceiling should be 50% of or not more than expenditure. I will repeat the statement once again. It has proposed that such ceiling should be either 50% of or not more than the expenditure ceiling limit provided for the candidate multiplied by the number of candidates for the party contesting the election. I'm again repeating it because it's really important. It has proposed that the ceiling should be either 50% of or not more than the expenditure ceiling limit provided for the candidate multiplied by the number of candidates of the party contesting the election. The agenda note says, that's what the agenda note says. The law ministry is yet to respond to this particular proposal. The commission has asked the parties to take note of alternative modes of voting for domestic migrants and absentee voters, such as the postal, proxy, and electronic voting. The commission has also provided 5 strategies, the agenda note says, to ensure that no migrant is left out, and this includes registering the Aadhaar part and all that. The Election Commission has asked what measures can the political parties undertake to encourage enhanced representation of women within the organizational structure of the political party. It has pulled out embarrassing statistics to build the case for a greater representation of women, and there are only 11.4 women in the 16th Lok Sabha, substantially lower than the global average of 22.9. That's what the commission noted. So that's all important about this particular article. Please do proper research on whatever was mentioned in the previous article regarding the election commission. So that's all important about that. We are moving on to the next one regarding the ISRO telemedicine notes for soldiers in high altitude areas. In a major effort to improve the emergency medical support to the soldiers posted in high altitude areas, especially Siachen, the Integrated Defense Staff of the Defense Ministry and the Indian Space Research Organization signed a memorandum of understanding on Friday to set up telemedicine nodes in critical places across the country. ISRO will establish 53 more nodes in the first phase, over and above the existing 20. So, a part of this, in addition to the functioning node on the Siachen Glacier, 4 more nodes are being established to enable the medical consultation between soldiers deployed on the glaciers and middle echelons in the rear. So, this is a joint initiative by the ISRO and the Armed Forces Medical Services, which will transform the reach of telemedicine to the soldiers, airmen, sailors in remote and isolated posts. So, let's hope things will fall in the right place. Next article is regarding the it is actually related to GS2. I have mentioned it they mentioned it 3. The China should forge closer ties with India, Japan. That's what the China Global Television Network, that is an article run on this particular website, has which is run by the China's official broadcaster, has said or argued. China should positively intervene in the shaping of Indo-Pacific agenda. It is advisable for China to participate in the construction of an Indo-Pacific discourse system selectively and join the discussions about some concepts that are in China's national interest, such as the community of shared future of mankind and the Indo-Pacific and the Belt and Road Initiative, says an article by an associate research fellow in a prominent Chinese foreign relations university. So the author spotlights the necessity of China's firmer connect with India, Japan, and Australia, the 3 countries that are part of the US-led Indo-Pacific Quad. So the Chinese initiative should focus on shared interest with these countries to weaken their motivation to join Indo-Pacific countries to contain China. The write-up highlights that the US focus on the promoting the democratic values was the political bedrock of the Indo-Pacific doctrine. This is this is a really interesting part of this article, because all other All other nations in the Quad are democratic, except the Quad is actually intended to contain the influence of China, and there is a very prominent difference between this particular Quad and other one. And China is a communist country, as we all know, and all others in the Quad are democratic. And it has also an economic dimension of developing exclusive economic and trading arrangements. Besides, sowing discord between China and other countries is a part of Indo-Pacific diplomacy, which opened gates for the joint military exercises and arms sales. Anyway, let's see how China is going to take this up, because as of now, there is a strong friction between the U.S. and China, and various other aspects as well, because they are not in a good relationship with their neighbors, and also especially regard to the South China Sea dispute and all that. So let's see how things are going to evolve. That's all about that. And moving on to the next one. This actually has a GS2 and GS3 dimension, because this involves some international relations. It also has an economy dimension also. Anyway, the important part is very small. The further rate increases is the best way to protect the US recovery. That's what the Jerome Powell, who's a very prominent member in the Federal Bank, that is Federal Reserve, has said. And the Federal Reserve steady interest rate increase are the best way to protect the US economy recovery and keep job growth as strong as possible and inflation under control. That's what the Fed Chair Jerome Powell has said on Friday in a high profile endorsement to the current banking approach and all that. Anyway, please do a proper research on Fed tapering, about which I'll be explaining tomorrow in a very brief manner. Please do your part, so that it will my lesson will be a kind of revising for you. And regarding the impact of Fed tapering, also please have a proper look into it. I'll be discussing it later. Anyway, if you do your part, as I said before, it will be a revision kind of thing for you. So that's all important about that. We are moving on to the next one. US, that is, oil rises as the US sanction on Iran clouds the supplies. Oil prices rose more than 1% on Friday, supported by the signs that the US sanctions on Iran are already reducing the global supply. The US government reimposed sanctions on Iran this month after withdrawing from the 2015 international nuclear deal, which Washington saw as inadequate for curbing Tehran's activities in the Middle East and denying it the means to make an atomic bomb. Tehran says it has no ambitions to make such bomb. So Iran is the third biggest that is third biggest oil producer in the OPEC countries, supplying around 2.5 million barrels per day of crude and condensate to its market, which is equivalent to about 2.5% of the global consumption. We expect that by Q4, that is the fourth quarter, the market will be dealing with either undersupply, dwindling spare capacity, or both. So the market sentiment was cautious, however, after talks between the US and the Chinese officials aimed at resolving the escalating trade dispute between them, which ended on Thursday without no breakthrough. Instead, both countries have activated another round of tariff. So this is again raises a question regarding the US China relation. That's all important about this particular article. And as I promised before, let's look into what the exactly is the Mullaperiyar issue and all that. So this dam is located in Kerala's Idiki district, and it borders. This district has a very long border with Tamil Nadu, like various other districts in Kerala. Anyway, regarding the Kerala stand in Mullaperiyar is, if Mullaperiyar dam gets destroyed, it will also damage Idiki dam, and which is down the course of this thing. And Idiki is the largest producer of hydroelectricity in Kerala. The broken Mullaperiyar can also damage the Periyar National Park and Periyar Tiger Reserve, and also the impact on the livelihood of millions of people downstream is also under question if something really bad happens to this dam. And this dam is nearly 119 years old, and it poses threat to around 4 million people downstream. So if there is a minor earthquake, the dam site, in fact, which is a really geologically very sensitive zone as per the geological studies and all that. And in 2010, Kerala demanded that an entire dam be dismantled and we construct a new and a stronger dam. Kerala was ready to pay the entire expense. So anyway, Tamil Nadu totally disagreed with this thing. And let's look into what is the Tamil Nadu stand. Without raising water level in this dam, we cannot sustain our agriculture, because Tamil Nadu totally depends on around the it is from this particular dam's water that Tamil Nadu irrigates around 2 to 3 lakh hectares of their land. and if something, if they are denied this, they will be really suffering. So we have done adequate work to strengthen the water structure. That's what Tamil Nadu has said. And the tremors were really minor, and there is no danger to the dam despite being 119 years old. So regarding the new and stronger dam, Tamil Nadu totally disagreed with it, and saying that it will take a lot of time to set up a new dam. What about the farm and irrigation thing in the meantime? And in 2010, there was a Justice Anand committee who, upon the upon giving the mandate, said said that the dam is very much safe and the Mullaperia Dam poses no danger to the Idiki Dam. Anyway, that's all about that. And please look into the interstate water disputes, especially regarding uh, what exactly it is in the constitution. And recently there is also a tussle between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka regarding the Kaveri water dispute. And please look into what are all the prominent water dispute under the River Water Tribunal and various other aspects of the same. I'll be discussing it tomorrow. So that's all important about today. And please do your part so that whenever I am discussing the same, it will be a kind of revision for you. So that's all important about today. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you hit the like, please, if you like this video, please hit the like button and do share it with your friends. You can follow us on Telegram. You can also visit our blog, that is www.lordshouse.co. Please do subscribe our channel so that you won't miss any updates from us. We will be coming up with more interesting and compelling videos regarding various burning issues, ethics, and all that. So that's all important about today, and you can support us by paying your donations, making your donations to this particular Paytm number. And anyway, it's not mandatory. So if you feel that you can support us, please do support us. And another way you can support us is by sharing this video as much as possible. So thank you very much for whatever initiative you take. So thank you very much for watching this video. That's all about today. Have a nice day.